word in the prepared speech of the wayward son is worthy. I'm no longer worthy. I'm no longer worthy. And I'm telling you, there's a reason God says in the story, I ignored the speech. Because when it comes to your relationship with God because of Jesus, listen to me, it has nothing to do with your strengths or your weaknesses. Your relationship with God, your standing with God, your right relationship, hear me again, has nothing to do with your accomplishments, your strengths, or your failures, or your weaknesses. For the relationship that we are granted with God comes through Jesus Christ, and He did for us what we cannot do for ourselves. Here's the problem. When we receive the embrace of grace, because it is illogical and it is mysterious and it is hard to resolve, it's not a math problem, it's not a perfect science. It's a love from another realm, from the perfect, most brilliant being of all time. While He's hugging us, we want to explain to Him either what we've done for Him or why He shouldn't hug us because we've done nothing for Him. And I want you to know that you will find it frustrating in years to come because God will ignore that. He won't do anything about it. And it gets frustrating. Our biggest, in my opinion, I'm gonna say this in my opinion, the two greatest obstacles that we will face in fully embracing Jesus and enjoying friendship and relationship with God on levels we have yet to experience will be two things: our strengths and our weaknesses. I want to talk to you tonight how you are now. For those of us that have accepted Jesus, those of you that are considering it, this will be a great opportunity for you to consider as well. When it comes to your strengths and weaknesses, we don't talk about this enough, you are supposed to relate to them completely different now. Let me give you an example. So, strength, what's a normal relationship with your strengths? This is not rocket science. You're proud of it. You're like, yeah, that's what I do. Yeah, that's what I do, man. It ain't even a thing for me. It's just what I do. Your strength is that thing everybody goes, wow! And you're like, right? I know, it's crazy. You know what it is, right? And what's your relationship with your weaknesses? Embarrassed. I don't want nobody to see them. I'm embarrassed. That way of relating to your strengths and weaknesses has to completely change, or you will be perpetually frustrated in your journey with Jesus. Before we go any further, I want to tell you what your new relationship will be with strengths and weaknesses. You will see both of them as a gift, and it will transform your spiritual journey. And let me explain. So we're gonna dive into strengths first, and then we're gonna conclude with weaknesses. How am I to relate to my strengths? First of all, I want to say this: you ought to work on your strengths. You ought to maximize your strengths. You ought to have confidence around your strengths. You ought to be somebody who says, yeah, you know what, I am good at that. If you're good at something, go ahead and admit you're good at something. That's what you do. God has given you those strengths, and they came by way of a gift. My favorite term for strengths is giftings. That was a big, big spit. I'm an absolute nightmare tonight. You have giftings. You have giftings. You have giftings. So here comes Jesus. He's like, hey, son, I love you. And you come in for the hug with your giftings that you're proud of. And Jesus comes in for a hug and you're like, hey. And he's like, kind of wanted a full frontal. Give me the big hug. Well, I just wanted to show you that I kind of get it. You probably came here to hug me because of these. I know. Right? And I've been working really hard, and I just want you to know I am really here to help your cause. And this is the point I want to make tonight. Are we helping God, or are we following Him? Because that's where things get frustrated, when all of a sudden I'm here to help, and God's like, I didn't need help, bro. Like, some of us think the Bible starts like this: in the beginning, God needed help. Some of us live with Jesus like he said, help me, instead of follow me. And we run around like Jesus' little helpers, talking about, well, what I do for the kingdom and what I do for the Lord, really only I can do. That's why God chose me. So I'm all up in here helping God. That is an erroneous view of God. Can I say something? If God needs help, he's not God. You can't be God if you need help. That means you are not complete or whole. Therefore, you have a deficiency and you need help. That disqualifies Jesus as a Savior. He who knew no sin, didn't need any help, didn't have any problems, didn't have any issues. He could do for you and me what we could not do for ourselves, because he could help you because he didn't need no help. That's the gospel, right?